Back here at Texas Stadium, Bob Reynolds, along with Don Clyde. Both of the teams now have taken their preliminary warm-ups along the sidelines. We'll give you the starting lineup. Both teams have been introduced to this jam-packed capacity crowd of 65,000 here in this new Texas Stadium. Temperature 49 degrees, a beautiful day for football. Expected to go to a high of 60, the sun shining brightly. Not many surprises, no changes really in the offensive and defensive alignment of these two teams. For the Dallas Cowboys, who won the toss and will receive, it'll be Bob Hayes, number 22, and Lance Allworth, number 19, as the wide receivers. Mike Ditka and Billy Truax alternate as they do at tight end, bringing in the plays from time to time. And so Ditka, however, will get the start here today. Roger Staubach will be the quarterback, number 12. The running backs will be Dwayne Thomas, number 33, and Calvin Hill, number 35. The interior lineman at the tackles, Ted Lesio, number 64 on the left side, Rayfield Wright, number 70 on the right side. Dave Manders, 7-year veteran from Michigan State, will be the center, number 51. And the guards will be John Nyland, number 76, a 6-year veteran from Iowa. And on the right side, Blaine Nye, a 4-year veteran from Stanford. And Bruce Gossett, who does all the kicking for the 49ers, has the ball set up on the 40-yard line. And this huge crowd, in expectation of a fine football game, poised and ready. And also ready to bring you the first quarter action. We're very happy to introduce to you Don Klein, director of CBS Sports in San Francisco. Don?
Thanks, Bob, and here's the kick by Gossett coming down to about the 8-yard line where it is grabbed by Harris up the middle to the 20, the 25, and down to the 27-yard line. A 52-yard kick run back from the 8 to about the 27. They're operating out of a straight tee at first, then shifting, and Thomas in motion comes Allworth out right. A remaining back is Thomas. He's got the handoff and goes past the 30 up to the 32-yard line. Number 1 touchdown scorer in the National Football League this year in either conference. And he, of course, played such a big role in the Dallas victory of a year ago in this key game, which sent Dallas onto the Super Bowl itself. Out of the I formation they shift now, and Hill is going over as a man in motion. Staubach fakes the Hill, throws left, caught by Thomas at the 26. He's up to the 30, the 35, the 37 for a first down for the Cowboys. So here comes Dallas now operating at the Cowboys 38-yard line. Out of the I they move. Hill and Thomas, the running backs behind Staubach. In motion goes Hill out left. The lane remaining back is Thomas with a pitch. He goes to the 40 and up to about the 44-yard line where Earl Edwards knocks him down. Out of the huddle up to the line of scrimmage. Bob Hayes wide left and Allworth out right. Running out of the I are Hill and Thomas behind Staubach. 49ers in their normal defense with a second down and 9 situation for Staubach. Calls his signals and drops back, runs into Thomas. Thomas has the ball. He's in trouble. He's hit at the 38 and thrown back to the 36. As Thomas, that time as Staubach turned to make his handoff, a cross-up in Thomas himself ran into him, and Dave Wilcox took advantage of the situation to throw him back to the original line of scrimmage, the 38. Roger Staubach, the number 1 passer of the National Football League, keeping the Dallas Cowboy attack essentially on the ground so far. Number 1 status by percentage of interceptions, TDs, and the average yards per attempt, the way they rate the quarterbacks, and Staubach is king in that regard. Slot back formation left as Roger goes back to pass. Cocks his arm, throws 125 yards. It's caught on the far sideline to a first down, taken that time by Lance Allworth beautifully on the far side of about the 45-yard line. Bruce Taylor was the man on the tackle, but not in time to avoid the first down again. Shifting into a power eye this time. Power eye right. Thomas to the right side, and Allworth moves in that direction too. The 49ers shift their defense to cover. Here's a handoff to Hill. He's in trouble. He's being chased back into a reverse counter now. At the 50, still hasn't gained anything, and he's hit back at the 47-yard line. Calvin Hill coming with the flow of the play on the shift of the man in motion, Allworth. They were lined up into the power eye. It's second down now and 10 to go for Dallas at the 49er 45-yard line. Slot back formation right, double receivers. Hayes now breaks that pattern and goes left. As Staubach is ready, hands it off to Hill. Hill over the left side gains about 3 yards before he's knocked down short of the 49er 42-yard line where Frank Nunley hit him. Here again the Cowboys line of scrimmage, moving from their 29 to the 49er 42-yard line now. Slot back right is Hayes. Allworth spread wide to the right. In fact, Truax is off the left end split too. Staubach throwing, and it is incomplete. Intended for Allworth on a cutback pattern through the middle. Also Billy Truax coming across from his tight end spot. They're going back into to the 48-yard line where Mike Clark attempting this field goal. The kick on its way, and it's going to be short, and Simpson is back to take it at the 2-yard line, comes to the 10, goes through the middle to the 17-yard line, and down he goes at the 17. That kick from the 48-yard line on the part of Mike Clark, who had kicked 13 out of 25. His longest kick this year had been, incidentally, 48 yards, and that's the distance he failed to negotiate that time. So the 49ers now have the ball for the first time this afternoon, and starting from their own 17-yard line as John Brody takes position. Split backs, Washington and Willard in behind him. In motion comes Gene Washington out to the left side. Witcher spread wide right. The handoff going to Vic Washington. Comes to 15, cuts back in, goes to the 20, and to the 21-yard line. A gain of about 3 or 4 yards on the first running play of the game for Vic Washington, led on the interference by Ken Willard. Much more effectiveness. Any quarterback wants to keep that secondary guessing. It makes his passing game all the more effective, of course. Here's Washington wide left, Witcher right on a short split. Setbacks are in behind Brody. The handoff goes to Vic Washington, who will hold the 25 to 30 to the 33-yard line. As Vic Washington got a block from Randy Feisler up front and Forrest Blue, who will be in the Pro Bowl this year for his great season in 1971. Here's San Francisco on the attack again. Same formation. Washington left, Witcher right. The handoff is fake. Brody back to pass. Shoots one out 25 yards. And it is incomplete, almost intercepted. Witcher, the receiver, double teamed. Herb Adderley got a hand up on it, and then Cliff Harris was the man coming in underneath. It'll be 2nd and 10 for the 49ers at the San Francisco 33-yard line. Witcher goes right. Gene Washington comes out left. Brody has Vic Washington and Ken Willard set behind him. Dallas putting 5 men now up front, plugging in with a linebacker. Leroy Jordan closing up the middle, through which Washington tries to move, and he's hit at the 34-yard line. It's now 3rd and long, 3rd and 8 for Brody, who has to pass and goes back, cocks his arm, and throws it. It is incomplete. Intended for Witcher at the 45-yard line, but Herb Adderley, a tight defender, was there to see that Witcher would not complete and give the 49ers a first down.
Brody got shaken up pretty good on that play. He was a little slow getting up. They had some pressure on him that time. He has been sacked, only 11 times all season long. And one of the reasons for that is not only the fine job that he gets from his blockers, but the fact that he has such a quick release. John is walking off a little slowly, talking to the officials, thinking that he got a pretty good lick. So Steve Spurrier on the kick situation, 4th down and 8 is in there.
Spurrier now kicking in what Dick Nolan describes as a pressure situation in place of Jim McCann. Spurrier has kicked only twice, averaging 38 yards this year. He's waiting, has the ball, and gets his kick away. Off to the right side. There'll be no return on it. 49ers covering the ball at the 30-yard line. And there, the Dallas Cowboys will be in operation. And now Staubach is ready. He comes out of the eye, puts the slot back right, and in motion comes Hill out to the right side. Power to that side, and they go through the middle with Thomas, as Dwayne still can't find the hole, and he's down to the 31-yard line. Dwayne has that quick shift lateral movement. Tremendous lateral sight to find the holes, but there just was not one, and Charlie Kruger was the man giving him his most trouble. Cowboys at line of scrimmage. Thomas and Hill, both in setbacks, and Allworth moves out right to balance the spread. Here's Staubach going back to pass, throws 15 yards over the head of Bob Hayes on the far sideline. Hayes, the intended receiver, who caught 35 this year. We're glad to have listeners around the world in this broadcast on CBS Radio from Texas Stadium. It's now 3rd down and 9 to go. Normal Dallas spread as Staubach drops back on 3rd and long yardage, throwing 25 yards downfield, almost intercepted by Dave Wilcox. He had more of a shot at it than Mike Ditka, the primary receiver, the tight end. And the 49er defense contains everything. Dallas can throw at it. And now we'll take over the ball again, and Dallas will be kicking from the line of scrimmage at the 31.
San Francisco will blitz much more than Dallas will, say about 25% of the times, and Dallas is about 5%. So you're seeing a lot of defense that's very similar here today.
Back to kick for the first time, Ron Whitby gets his boot away. Simpson and Fuller, the deep men. Fair catch called for at the 34-yard line, that time by Mike Simpson. And there, the 49ers will take possession. So it's 1st and 10, 49ers at the San Francisco 35. There is no score in this ball game. As calling his signals. John Brody from the normal 49er spread. John has the ball, hands it off to Washington, trying to turn, gets away, breaks the tackle at the 40 and down to the 41-yard line. And gains about 6 yards on the play before Cliff Harris, coming up from the strong safety spot, made the stop on the play. 41-yard line, 2nd and 4, 49ers. As John goes back, quick pass to the right sideline intended for Gene Washington, overthrowing him on a quick out pattern. Gene had just gone to where he would have had a first down. Mel Renfro, another Pro Bowl performer this year, coming up, 3 times All-Pro from Oregon, was the man defending against the reception defenses prevailing here at the moment. 5:11 left to go in a scoreless first quarter. Super Bowl at stake. Here's Brody, short drop back, pulls out, and it's incomplete. John had Ken Willard coming out of the backfield, and he overthrew him.
And so Spurrier back to kick for the second time now. Will boot it from about his own 31.
Back to receive now, Cliff Harris. Bob Hayes is the front man, Cliff Harris the deep man. And here's the kick on its way from Spurrier. Coming downfield to the 21-yard line. A fair catch called for by Harris. He's hit as he caught it. The crowd does it like that. That kick was good for about 38 yards.
Has not been any.
Here's Dallas now to the line of scrimmage. They shift Hill back in behind Thomas, running out of an eye. In motion comes Allworth to the right side. He's in rather tight. Here's the handoff given to Thomas, and again he can't find the hole, but does get through for about 2 or 3 yards before Dave Wilcox closes it up on him. Of course, last year this Dallas team ran over Cedric Hartman a lot, Bob, on that right side with Bruce Taylor. New men, and this year it is rough going on that side. Here's a pitch back to Hill, getting a block by Thomas up to the 25 to 27-yard line. He's hit after gaining about 2 yards. So that'll make it 3rd down and about 5 to go for the Cowboys. Let's pause now, 5 seconds for stations to identify themselves, this being the CBS Radio Network. There goes Hayes in motion left, Allworth split out right. Strawback drops straight back to throw a pass. Gets his pass away, and incomplete at 32, and a beautiful defensive effort that time on the part of Mel Phillips, coming up from his strong safety spot, hitting Mike Ditka. 4th and 4, and Dallas for the 3rd time today, punting twice, field goal attempt once. And back to receiver Mike Simpson and Johnny Fuller for the 49ers, stationed at about the 35. Here's the kick by Whitby, downfield. It's coming down this time to Fuller. He's got it, up to the 33, the 34, and down he goes. Both teams in possession 3 times, 3 minutes to play in the first quarter, and no scores yet. Brody moving Washington in motion. Dallas counters with Green coming over to cover. The handoff is given to Washington again through the middle and going nowhere. Wound up by Jethro Pugh and Bob Lilly up front.
I'll tell you one thing, Doc, both of those defensive lines up front have made a few minor changes in keying. I'll tell you that because both of these ball clubs are having difficulty finding any running room at all. And we've got a defensive battle here.
We have 5 men up front now. And Jordan ready to plunge if he's called that. Here's the Brody back throwing 30 yards downfield, which are incomplete. Threw on his turning side. Herb Adderley was on the inside, and Witcher breaking out, and the pass was just a little bit to the right of Dick. San Francisco's defense a little more consistent. Number 5 against the rush, number 3 against the pass. Here's Brody, 3rd and long, has to pass, goes back, has good time, throws to Witcher, completed the 40, hasn't got the yardage as he's down at the 42-yard line. Herb Adderley was the man who got him at the 42. Back to kick, Steve Spurrier. Back to receive are Bob Hayes, along with Cliff Harris. Waiting for the snap is Spurrier. Line of scrimmage, the 42. And here's the kick on its way. A high spiral. Chasing Harris back to the 14. He's got it there. Gets between 2 men. Hit by another at the 15. And runs that kick back. Actually only a yard. He took it there at about the 14-yard line. A fine 44-yard kick by Steve Spurrier. Here again, ready are the Cowboys, trying to put something together in their 4th drive of the day. Strawback is ready. Slot back formation right, gives to Hill. Plunging through the middle, gets about 2 or 3 yards before he falls in the grasp of Earl Edwards in his 3rd year for the 49ers. We have only 17 seconds to go in the scoreless first quarter as Bob Hayes slots to the right side and the wide spread of Lance Allworth. setbacks now behind Staubach. In motion goes Hayes out to the left side. As Staubach is ready, drops out to the left side. Gets his pass too far over the head of Bob Hayes on the far sideline.
Neither quarterback, Don, is having much luck out there. Brody is 1 out of 5, I believe. 1 out of 6, and Roger is only 2 out of 23, or 2 out of 7, rather, for 23 yards. They're a bit tight, both of them.
Dallas has moved to the San Francisco 42 to the 31 and the 27 in their 3 drives. The 49ers have not been past their 42. Here's Staubach coming out of the pocket, chased from behind. He's on a run at the 25 to the 28-yard line, and Staubach has a first down. I don't know whether you can call that a broken play, Bob, or not, but he looked as though he wanted to throw that ball, and Jimmy Johnson finally nailed him at the 29-yard line as we got the end of the first quarter here. With the score, Dallas nothing and San Francisco nothing. Starting the second quarter between Dallas and San Francisco here at Texas Stadium in the suburbs of Dallas, Texas, the National Football Conference Championship. To the winner goes a Super Bowl bid berth against either Miami or Baltimore.
As we start play here in the second quarter, we've got a scoreless ball game. Dallas's ball, first down and 10 of their own 29-yard line. Staubach is the quarterback. Thomas and Hill. Now they shift into pro set. 1 wide receiver. That's Hayes to the left. Staubach calling the signals. Grabs the ball. Hands it off this time to Calvin Hill. Hill gets it up to about the 32. Hit there by Charlie Kruger, the veteran left tackle, who, as Don mentioned, is very familiar in these parts down here. Played his college ball at Texas A&M. To see where they mark the ball at the 32. Gain of 3, second down and 7 to go. Ball at the 32-yard line of the Dallas Cowboys. No score. Beautiful day for football here, and we're seeing a great defensive battle here this first half. Neither quarterback on passing-wise. Both defenses doing a superb job. All set. Staubach the quarterback. This shifts him into the far right left, and in motion goes Lance Allworth. A broken play. Staubach rolling out to his right, doesn't know where to go. He's still looking. It was supposed to be a running play, or rather a passing play, and he had no place to go, and he had to keep the ball himself, and finally got out of trouble up to the 35. Actually picked up 3 yards on the play, and finally chasing him and bringing him down, Skip Vanderbunt, the right linebacker, number 52 from Oregon State. I would say, Don, that the Dallas offense here today so far in this first half has shown signs of a little bit of indecision. All right, we've got Walt Garrison, number 32, in there for Thomas now in that backfield for Dallas. Proset, 2 wide receivers to the outside. Hayes in the slot. Back goes Roger to pass. Stands in the pocket, throws it down there, incomplete at the 37-yard line. Intended for Calvin Hill. They're back now. As Ron Whitby gets set to kick, he'll boot this from around his own 24-yard line. It is 4th down and about 4 to go. Not much pressure this time to get the dandy away. Grabbed there at the 25-yard line by Fuller, and a flag goes down as Fuller brings it up to about the 28-yard line. On a flag thrown down there around the 24-yard line. That kick by Whitby was about 36 yards, and Johnny Fuller from Lamar Tech grabbed the ball at the 20, dropped back about a yard or so, and started upfield. The injured man on the field is Charlie Waters for the Dallas Cowboys, number 41 from Clemson, and he's being helped off to the sideline. The penalty is against the San Francisco 49ers.
That's the first penalty we've had today, Bob.
Yes, it is, and there's a clip on it. It moves the ball halfway back to the goal line and puts it at the 12-yard line, where it'll be San Francisco's ball now. First down and 10 at their own 12-yard line. They have Butcher wide to the left, Washington wide to the right. Power step to the right side of the backfield for Brody, who looks over the defense, which has been tough. Takes his time. No flag. The ball handed off in there this time to Washington. Washington gets it up to about the 14-yard line. That's all. And making the tackle over there was Dave Edwards, the left linebacker. Willard is in the backfield along with Washington. Brody taking his time, grabs the ball, fakes to Willard, drops back to the 5, throws the screen, intercepted at the 9-yard line. Intercepted by George Andrews at about the 9-yard line. And Brody threw that one right into the hands of George Andrews. himself had the full entry down on that one. And so it is first down and goal to go now for the Dallas Cowboys at the San Francisco 2-yard line. Willie Truax now coming in at tight end. He and Mike Ditka alternate bringing in the plays. There's the first real breakdown.
I don't think John saw Andrew coming across on that tight end situation.
All set to go. Roger Staubach, the quarterback now. Grabs the ball, gives it in there to Calvin Hill. Thomas it is, and he gets it down to about the 1-yard line. So it is second down and goal to go. At the 1-yard line, Calvin Hill at the top of the eye. Now they move into a pro set with Thomas and Hill. Staubach with the ball, gives it to Calvin, and he dives in toward the score. Calvin Hill gets the touchdown for the Dallas Cowboys as they move 9 yards in 3 plays. Now we get the try for the extra point. It'll be Mike Clark, who is perfect, 47 out of 47. He will attempt the extra point here. Early in the second quarter, the kick is up, but the kick is good. The score now is Dallas 7, San Francisco 49ers nothing. Back into the action here now is the Dallas Cowboys. Lead it 7-0 on a 1-yard touchdown plunge by Calvin Hill after the interception of George Henry. And here's the boot by Clark. Cunningham and Washington deep. The ball is going down to the 2-yard line. Taken there by Washington. Up to the 10. Up to the 15. Makes a good move to the outside. Cuts back in. Gets up over the 20. Finally dropped at the 22-yard line. Makes a difference indeed. Witcher wide to the right. Washington wide to the left. Close set of the backfield for Brody. Brody with the ball. Hands it off to Willard. Willard trying to find some running room right up the middle. Ran smack dab into Bob Lilly, who was the number 1 man in there. Number 74 from TCU, an 11-year veteran. Jethro Pugh from Elizabeth City State also in there on the play. 25-yard line, a gain of 2, second down and 8 to go. Witcher wide to the left. Washington out wide to the right. Willard and Dick Washington are the setbacks, and Brody fakes, hands the ball off. Now keeps it himself. Now a good fake, and he's caught for the loss. That time, Don, the Dallas Cowboys were blitzing. One of the few times that they do. Witcher is wide to the right. Washington wide to the left as Brody looks over the defense. This crowd making a lot of noise here. 65,000 of the ball handed off to Washington. Washington's got one blocker in front of him. Cuts, turns the corner, makes it up over the 25 and drops at the 26. Making the stop there, Dave Edwards for the 49ers, who send Steve Spurrier in to do the booty. Bob Hayes dropping back along with Cliff Harris for the Dallas Cowboys. We have 9 minutes and 9 seconds of playing time remaining as Spurrier waits. He's been under pressure. Not too much today from his punts, and gets a good one away. And Hayes signals for a fair catch, drops back a pace or 2, and catches it at the 33 or 4. So the Cowboys will put it in play first and 10 from their own 34-yard line. It is first and 10, Dallas, at their own 34-yard line. Roger Staubach is the quarterback. Now they shift into an I formation. Thomas and Hill are the running backs. In motion goes Lance Allworth to the right. Ball is pitched back to Calvin Hill, gets one block, turns the corner up over the 35 to the 36-yard line, and Mel Phillips comes up from the strong safety spot to bring him down at the 36. Allworth is out wide to the right. Now Hayes moves into the slot to the left, rather, and now Hayes goes in motion to the right side on the far side. Roger fakes it, throws a little screen to Calvin Hill. Calvin Hill's got one blocker in front of him. The flag goes down, however, as Hill is finally out of bounds at the 48-yard line of the 49ers. But there was a flag thrown, as we mentioned, as the play unfolded. Dave Wilcox finally forcing Hill out of bounds. The penalty against the Dallas Cowboys, the first one against them, to set the ball back at the 21-yard line, where it is now second down and 23 to go. Allworth is wide to the left. In motion to the right now goes Bob Hayes. Staubach with the ball, rolling out a little bit to the right. Play action pass. He can't find anybody to throw it to. Keeps it himself. All down at the 25-yard line by Cedric Hartman. So it's been remarkably free of penalties here with 7 minutes and 34 seconds to play from the Texas Stadium in Dallas, Texas. Actually, in the suburbs from Irving, Texas. Mike Ditka. Hayes now is in the slot to the left side, along with Allworth, who's out wide as a flanker to the left, and back goes Staubach to throw. The rush is on. Now he gets plenty of time, fires it down here, and it is caught beautifully by Billy Truax at the 46-yard line. And down he goes immediately. First and 10. Dallas at their own 46-yard line. Lance Allworth in motion to the right. Staubach handling it off this time to Thomas. Thomas finds a little running room this time as he hit the left side and then cut back in over the middle and got it up to the 46-yard line of the 49ers before Rosie Taylor was able to bring him down there at the 46. Staubach, Thomas, Hill to the backfield. Now they shift from a regular high. Send Allworth in motion to the right. Ball given to the short man, Hill. Hill gets it down to the 42. Pick up a 4. It's a first down. And there Skip Vanderbuck comes in to make the stop. And I think that Hill is picking up on the play, and he is.
Well, it looks as though the Dallas Cowboys may have to go without the services of Calvin Hill the rest of this afternoon. There's a timeout down on the field, and he seems to be hurt. A bad knee, maybe.
It is Calvin Hill who was hurt. It looks like a knee, and that, of course, is something that the Dallas Cowboys can ill afford. He's a great player, 6'4", 227-pounder, who's picked up 468 yards going to this, 468 yards of the season coming into the playoffs. He's being replaced by Walt Garrison. So it is first and 10 now at the 42-yard line of the San Francisco 49ers in possession of the Cowboys. Allworth wide to the left, in the slot to the left, and now in motion to the right goes Bobby Hayes. Takes the cornerback over there with him, Jimmy Johnson. Staubach back to throw, doesn't have anybody. He's going to run with the ball right up the middle. Gets down all the way to the 31-yard line with it. And Staubach can do that. He picked up 11 yards on the play and another first down. Set to go again. First down at 10. Dallas at the 31-yard line of the San Francisco 49ers. 7-0. Dallas leading here. 4:30 to play the first half. Staubach's not going to run anywhere this time. He's thrown back at the 40-yard line by Cedric Hartman for the loss on the play, and we'll pause 5 seconds for stations to identify themselves on the CBS Radio Network. We have 4 minutes and 22 seconds left here in the first half. Dallas leading at 7-0. They have the ball at the San Francisco 49er 39-yard line. Second down and 19 to go. Garrison is in there along with Dwayne Thomas. In motion to the right side goes Lance Allworth. Staubach with the ball straight back into the pocket. Fakes, throws it over there to Garrison, and Garrison is really going to be hit, and really is. A bump down around the 47 or 8. Dave Wilcox had that one diagnosed beautifully. Loss of 8 yards on it, so it brings up a 3rd and 27 now for the Dallas Cowboys, and they are back at the 47-yard line of the San Francisco 49ers. 3rd and 27. Staubach looking over the defense in motion. Now coming to the left is Lance Allworth. Staubach with the ball, gives it off to Dwayne Thomas. Thomas has got one blocker out in front of him. John Nyland turns the corner inside the 49ers 40-yard line down around the 38. And Tommy Hart, along with Bruce Taylor, have to make the stop on him there. 4th down and 17. 2 minutes and 49 seconds left here in the first half. And we're going to get a field goal attempt. Holding will be Dan Reeves, and it'll be Mike Clark who will attempt it from the 44-yard line, about at the hash mark on this side. Not much of an angle. Here's the boot. And it is wide of the upright to the outside. No good. So Mike Clark misses a field goal here, and the 49ers defensive unit has done the job. They'll take over first down at 10 at their own 20-yard line. First down at 10, San Francisco at their own 20. They have Witcher wide to the right side, and Brody back in the pocket to throw. Fires one over here, and it's going to be no good. It was intended for Cunningham. And Chuck Hawley, the linebacker, tipped it away. Almost had a chance to pull it in. Goes incomplete. Second down at 10. All right, Don. Second down at 10. The ball at the 20-yard line of San Francisco. They trail 7-0 to Dallas with 2:23 remaining in the first half. Brody back in the pocket, throws to Cunningham. Cunningham catches it, but he's hit immediately at the 23. Leroy Jordan, along with Chuck Hawley, at the 23. A gain to only 3 yards on the play, brings up a 3rd and 7. And here's Brody grabbing the ball, gives it off on a draw to Willard, and Willard gets just about a yard. That's all. Good defensive play there by Chuck Hawley. The 13-year veteran from West Virginia wasn't fooled on the draw, grabbed him and brought him down after only a yard gain, and it's 4th down and 6. San Francisco at their own 24-yard line. And as Spurrier is kicking now for the 6th time, 5 times. Pass in center. Gets this kick away, and a fair catch signal for by Hayes at the 38-yard line. Bobby Hayes takes the ball. They mark it to 39. 1st and 10. Dallas at the 39-yard line. Back goes Staubach to throw. Good protection. And he throws it to Alworth along the sidelines, but he did not catch it inbounds, and so just incomplete. Brings up a 2nd and 10. 65,000 fans here at this beautiful Texas stadium watching the action. Cowboys all set. Alworth is on the right side. Hayes to the left. Back goes Roger to throw. Pretty good protection. Fires it down. He's got Hayes at the 48-yard line of the 49ers, and he's hit immediately by Bruce Taylor and dropped there. 45 seconds to play here in the first half, and of course the Dallas Cowboys picking up a first down, hoping to get the ball deep enough so that Clark at least can have a shot at a field goal, and the Cowboys take time out here to kill the clock.
And Staubach is play calling today from Tom Landry's help. Is keeping that 49er secondary guessing now. He's going to the air a little bit more, and it is has this 49er secondary and the entire defense on its toes.
First down and 10, Dallas at the 48 of San Francisco. Staubach right back in the pocket. The rush is on. He gets out of it. And he's going to pick up some yards down to the 45 as he has to run with it. Gets about 3 before Tommy Hart pulls him down along with Charlie Kruger. And the Cowboys take time out again with 38 seconds showing on the clock here. 49ers have 3 timeouts. Cowboys have just 1 left. Cowboys aren't interested in stopping the clock, not unless they get the football. Hayes is split to the left. Alworth to the right. Throws set of the backfield. And Staubach is back to throw. The rush is on, and he's going to be grabbed and thrown down beautifully. A beautiful defensive play by Cedric Hartman, who just rushed past the blocker over there and grabbed Roger and dumped him for a loss back at the 47-yard line of the Dallas Cowboys, and that puts him a little bit out of range.
Bob, there's the guy that they took advantage of up in San Francisco a year ago, and certainly Cedric is saying this is the 2nd time around, and you better think otherwise.
A loss of 8 on the play, back to the 47-yard line. So it is 3rd and 15 now for Dallas at their own 47 with 15 seconds left. That's all, and the clock running. In motion to the right goes Bob Hayes. Staubach with the ball, back in the pocket. Still looking. And he's going to be hit, and he is hit. Now, whether they rule it a fumble or a pass, they rule it a fumble, and it's intercepted and is picked up at the 45-yard line by Edwards, and he's dropped right there. And the gun goes off. That's the end of the first half on the fumble when Staubach was hit. Ball popped out, and Cedric Hartman, Edwards was the man who picked up the fumble at about the 40-yard line to end the first half. So that's the end of the first half. With the score, Dallas 7, San Francisco nothing. And by Chuck Howley. And so we are underway here from Texas Stadium in the 3rd period. Dallas 7, San Francisco nothing. The 49ers will put it in play. First down at 10 at their own 24-yard line. Willard and Washington will be the running backs. John Brody the quarterback. Dick Witcher and Gene Washington will be the wide receivers. And Ted Pollock will be the tight end. The interior linemen, Len Rhodey and Cass Balasick at the tackles. Randy Weisler and people at the guards, and Blue in at center. Washington wide to the right side this time. Witcher to the left. Rhodey with the ball. Fakes, drops back in the pocket. Looks for somebody. Good protection. Fires it long and deep for Washington. He's got it. Makes the catch. Good at the 48-yard line and out of bounds. Gene Washington. So Brody on the first play going deep to Washington. Just underway here in the 3rd period from Texas Stadium. Washington wide to the right. Witcher to the left side. High formation of the backfield for Brody. The fake. The ball is handed off to Willard, and Willard is hit about the 47 by Larry Cole, the number 1 man in there, number 63, 6'4", 250-pound, 4-year veteran who played his college ball at Hawaii. A loss of a yard. It is now 2nd down and 11 at the 47-yard line. Witcher wide to the right side this time, and on the far side, Washington. That's Gene Washington, number 18. Back goes Brody in the pocket again. The rush is on. The blitz, he fires, and it is almost intercepted. Cornell Green was there. The pass was intended for Ted Pollock, the tight end. Witcher and Washington are wide. Washington on the right side, Richard on the left. The handoff goes in there to Vic Washington. Washington turns the corner, gets up over the midfield marker and down into Cowboy territory at the Cowboy 48 and 9. And Steve Spurrier is back in kick formation. The pass from center is a little high, but he gets it away. Hayes is back there. Bobby grabs it on the fly at the 11, looks for some running room, doesn't have much, and is finally hauled down around the 14-yard line. First and 10 from the 14. The ball is given off to Garrison, and Garrison gets up over the 15 and is hauled down around the 18 by Cedric Hartman. North Texas State boys. At the 19, they mark it. Gain of 5. High formation to the backfield for the Cowboys. 2nd and 5 for them. The ball is given off to Dwayne Thomas, and he's going nowhere. He gets hauled down right about at the line of scrimmage by Dave Wilcox. And here's the big third down play for the Cowboys. 3rd and 5 from their own 19-yard line. Reeves is in the slot to the left. Hayes is wide. Staubach dropping back, looking. Firing it over here that is no good. Intended for Reeves, right around the 33-yard line. Good defensive play by Rosie Taylor. The pass from center, the rush is on, and it's almost blocked, but he gets away a dandy. Taylor takes it at his own 38-yard line and is hauled down immediately, making the stop Braxton Welch. Beautiful kick under pressure. Almost blocked. But he got it away. So the 49ers will put it in play, 1st down and 10 at their own 37, and we're getting a timeout. Back into the action now. The 49ers with the ball. 1st and 10 at their own 37-yard line as Brody looks over the defense. One wide receiver hands the ball off, fakes, drops back, and going long and deep. We've got Pollock at the 40-yard line of the Cowboys, and Pollock is hit immediately up the 38, and down he goes. Herb Adderley was over covering on the play. Cliff Harris was over there. The pass complete to the 38-yard line of the Dallas Cowboys. One wide receiver to the left is Washington. Brody looking over the defense, takes his time, grabs the ball, gives it to Willard. Willard trying to find some running room, gets inside the 35, down to around the 33 with it. Out the Dallas 33. 2nd down and 5 from there. Richard goes wide to the left. Also Washington is out there on the left side. 2 wide receivers to the left. And Brody goes back to throw. Fires a little swing pass over to Willard. Willard at the 35 turns the corner and is still on his feet. Fights his way down to about the 27-yard line. And that will be close to a 1st down if it's not one. And Mel Renfrew finally hauled him down. And the 49ers now have some momentum going for them. This is a 1st down, and they mark it at the 27. 1st down and 10 at the 27-yard line for the 49ers. Wide receivers, Richard to the right, Washington to the left. The ball is given off this time to Washington. Vic Washington, number 22, and he fights a couple of yards to the 25, and George Andre is the number 1 man to meet him. Well, just over the 25-yard line of the Dallas Cowboys, who lead it 7-0 on a 1-yard touchdown by Calvin Hill after an intercepted pass at the 9-yard line of the 49ers had set it up. 2nd down and 8. Brody looking it over at the 25 of the Cowboys. Brody has 2 wide receivers. Gives it, fakes the draw, goes over to the side, fires to Pollock, and Pollock has got it out of bounds at the 21. Cornell Green over there with him. That favorite combination, Brody to Pollock. And no cooler, calmer veteran engineers the club than Brady. Brody, 3rd and 4. Back he goes in the pocket. Looking long and deep into the end zone. He fires, and it is batted away on a beautiful defensive play by Cornell Green. Intended once again for the tight end, Ted Pollock. And Cornell Green made the great defensive play that time. So that'll bring up a 4th down and 4 from the 21, and it'll bring in Bruce Gossett, who has kicked 23 of 36 field goals in the regular season. Gossett will attempt one from the 27-yard line, right on the hash mark on this side of the field. So we got very little angle. Ball is placed by Brody. Gossett's kick is up, and it is good. A 27-yard field goal from Bruce Gossett, and the score now is Dallas 7, San Francisco 3. Well, Don Brody did a good job in engineering that drive, taking his club through the air and on the ground down into field goal position. And Gossett finally came through with the 27-yarder to make it 7-3. Thomas on the far side, Waters, Harris on the near side. Here's the boot. 3 or 4 yards deep in the end zone. It hits the goalpost, so the ball is dead. It'll come out to the 20-yard line, and the Dallas Cowboys will put it in play right there. 1st down and 10. Cowboys from their own 20-yard line. Roger Staubach is the quarterback. Garrison and Thomas are the halfbacks, and they are split in the pro set with two wide receivers. Back goes Staubach to throws the quick one to 25 to Hayes. Hayes is out of bounds at the 28. Bruce Taylor was the man who was on Bobby Hayes, and this crowd here thought that he was a little over-enthusiastic, what you call it, down along the sidelines.
Well, he took him down after, of course, they had gone over the sidelines, but sometimes you have a man in your possession, your momentum won't let you get loose from him, and then the balance takes care of itself from that point. I don't think Taylor was doing anything malicious, but remember, he's playing in front of a lot of people who have no use for those fellows in the red and gold uniforms.
I asked the defensive back that once. He said, my fingers get caught in the jerseys. I can't let go, you know. Second down and 2 at the 28-yard line. Two wide receivers. Hayes and Allworth. The ball is given off to Dwayne Thomas. Dane is following one block down the sideline. Does he go out of bounds? He does. At the 35-yard line. They marked him out of bounds. That's at the 35. And it was Dave Wilcox who finally forced him out of bounds way up here at the 35-yard line of the 49ers, but he stepped out of bounds at his own 35. So actually, there's only a gain of 7 on the play, but it is a first down. Hayes is in the slot to the left. Here's Staubach handing it off to Dwayne Thomas. Thomas going outside, getting a block in there from Nye, and his hip drops as he gets to about the 36. So they have an eye on Dwayne Thomas. Second down and 9 is the situation. Dallas in possession at their own 36-yard line. Allworth wide to the left, Hayes to the right. Throw set of the backfield with Garrison back there along with Thomas. Back goes Staubach to throw, staying in the pocket. He's going to be hit and dropped for the loss. He gets out of it, however, but the whistle has blown at the 29. And this crowd doesn't like that call. Charlie Kruger was the man who broke through there and got a hold of Roger.
Sending the NFC Championship battle here in Dallas between the 49ers and the Cowboys, who lead it 7-3 over San Francisco.
Big third down play here, 3rd and 15 for Dallas at their own 30-yard line. Hayes is wide to the left in the slot. Is Allworth, and back goes Staubach to throw. He's going to have to scramble out of there. Still scrambling. Now he's going to run with it. 30, 35, pull down from behind at the 40-yard line. Making the stop on him there was Wilcox along with Frank Nunley. He picked up about 11 yards on the play, but he was short of the first down because he had 15 to go. We can't see how he got it away. This time, however, he doesn't have any pressure, and he gets a boomer away. And a fair catch is signaled for Hortus going right into the end zone for the touchback, and there was a beautiful punt of 70 yards. And I must mention also that there's no wind factor involved here at this Texas Stadium at all. Well, he really got the good foot to that one. 70 yards into the end zone, and the 49ers will have to start now 1st and 10 from their own 20. All set to go. The Cowboys ball at their own 20-yard line. 7-3 the score. 4:32 remaining third period. Witcher wide to the right, Washington wide to the left. Brody is the quarterback, as he has been all day. Ball goes to the deep man. Washington finds an opening, breaks up into the middle, gets to the 35-yard line before Vick is pulled down from behind by Cornell Green. Brody from the I formation with the ball, gives it off to Willard, and Willard is hit immediately at the 35 by Larry Cole. Witcher wide to the right, Washington wide to the left. Throw set of the backfield for Brody, who looks over that tip defense of the Cowboys. Back he goes a step or two, throws a quick one, it's batted away. And it was Bob Lilly, I believe, and Cole. Both Lilly and Cole had a hand up on Brody that time.
And now John, of course, after two fine drives, the first one, 28 and then 42 yards, he needs long yardage here to keep possession, of course, otherwise would have to kick.
3rd and 10 at the 35-yard line. Watch the defensive play now of the Dallas Cowboys. Washington and Witcher are wide. Witcher to the far side, Washington to this side. Back in the pocket goes John. Poised and throws, and he has got Washington at the 43 of the Dallas Cowboys, who makes a diving catch for the ball there. They pick up that all-important first down. 1st and 10 now for the 49ers at the 43-yard line of the Dallas Cowboys. Brody faking and dropping back, throwing a screen to Washington at the 48-yard line. He gets to the 45 and is forced out of bounds there by Herb Adderley.
Bob, there, of course, was a case of Brody. That's one of his favorite plays, that screen, but he had the rush on it, and they took away the screen. There was only one man in front of Washington even after he got it. So the rush, of course, in that case, got to John just too quickly.
2nd down and 11 from the 44 of Dallas. Witcher wide to the left, Washington wide to the right. Here's Brody with the ball, dropping straight back. Throwing it over in the flat to Tread Qualick. Qualick's got it at the 42 and is ridden out of bounds at the far side of the 40-yard line of the Dallas Cowboys by Cornell Green. Brody completed his first third down situation the last time, and now he's 1 out of 7, and he faces another one here. 3rd and 9 at the 40-yard line, they mark it. They'll make it 3rd and 7 at the 40. 3rd and 7 for San Francisco at the Dallas 40-yard line. 2 wide receivers, which are in Washington. Back goes Brody to throw. The rush is on. He's way back to his own 43-yard line. Now throws it out of bounds. Lilly was in there hooking on Brody.
I don't think he saw him, Bob.
I don't think he did either. And Tom Landry points back toward the goal line to send his man back there to cover. That's Mel Renfro dropping back by himself, and the field goal attempt will be from the 47. Drew Scotland, who has kicked 1 of 27, now has one 20 yards deeper from the 47. Here's the boot. It's long enough, but it is wide of the upright to the left side, and it is no good. And so the Cowboys will put it in play with the defensive unit turning in another superb job. 1st and 10, Dallas at their own 20-yard line. 2 minutes and 1 second to play, third quarter. Dallas 7, San Francisco 3. Back goes Staubach. Long and deep for Lance Alworth, but Alworth got it, but he caught it out of bounds. He was in the air. Bruce Taylor making the defensive play, but Alworth was in the air when he caught the ball, and his feet did not come down in bounds. 7-3. Dallas out in front. Bobby Hayes wide to the left. Lance Alworth to the right side, not too far out. The I formation, the pitch back to Dwayne Thomas. Dwayne trying to turn the corner, does, and is run out of bounds, stopping the clock at the 23-yard line, and Tommy Hart is the man who forced him out there. Gain of 3, 3rd down and 7. 3rd down and 7 is the play situation now as the Cowboys come out of the huddle. The ball is at their own 23-yard line, and it is 7-3. Dallas leading. Alworth wide to the left this time. Bobby Hayes wide to the right. Throw set in the backfield. Garrison is in there with Thomas. And back goes Roger Staubach to pass at the 15-yard line. Now he's going to have to roll out of there. He's way back to his 5-yard line. Starts upfield. Now he reverses his field again. Fires over here. He's got a man, Reeves, at the 32, at the 35. Up to the 40-yard line goes Reeves with the ball. And Staubach thrills the crowd here with that one.
Bob, Tom Landry may not like his quarterback, Roger Staubach, to run too much, but when he has to, I bet he's glad he can run like that, huh?
Yeah. Got out of a big hole there. The ball is handed off to Garrison. Garrison finding some running room, gets up over the 45 to the 47. Roger taking his time, grabs the ball, goes back straight into the pocket this time, stands and looks, has all kinds of time. Now he's going to run again. But this time he's going to be hauled down from the rear at the 46 by Cedric Hartman. And we're getting a timeout for the officials. The end of the third quarter with the score, Dallas 7 and San Francisco 3.
Bob, going into this fourth quarter, we'll look back at history of a year ago. You might remember that Dallas went into the fourth quarter ahead of the San Francisco 49ers by the score of 17-3. They were then, the 49ers had to come back and score the 7 points, falling short 17-10. They were scoreless in the fourth quarter. Obviously, the 49ers cannot afford to let that happen here now. Here's Dallas ready at their own 45-yard line, slot back formation, left side. Staubach is going back to pass, cocks his arm, throws 20 yards, caught by Truax. He's down to the 35, down to the 32-yard line for a first down. Couple of yards as Earl Edwards came through to make the stop, just past the 49er 25-yard line. It's 2nd down and about 2 to go. Gain of 8 on the play. Rosie Taylor's all right. He's back in now for Johnny Fuller at that safety spot.
Staubach is carried 7 times now, Don, for 49 yards.
He's about the leading ground gainer of the day now. Here's the handoff given to Walt Garrison, plunging through the left side, and Garrison appears to have the first down.
Around the 22 and a half or so, and just kept his legs turning and got it down to the 20 for the first down. And a big one it is.
Well, I'll tell you, this Dallas offense doesn't drop up very much between Hill and Garrison, and he and Thomas are now the running combination. This time Thomas is up in a slot back on the left side, comes back to a normal I formation now, fronted by Garrison, as Staubach has the ball, gives off to the lead man. Garrison again past the 15 and goes through two men, hit by three more and falls down for 13.
What we were just talking about, that great second effort of Garrison.
It's second down after a gain of 7, 2nd and 3 for Dallas. As here's Staubach ready, hands off to Thomas behind the block up. Garrison gets down to the 12-yard line. Dallas will have a third down, about a yard and a half to go. 11:55 remains in the fourth and final period of a ball game with the Super Bowl bid hanging in the balance for the winner here. And Dallas, leading 7-3 at the moment, could put the 49ers in dire straits if they cap this off with a score. Here's Staubach ready. Lone back is Garrison, joined by Thomas coming back in a shift. As here's Staubach now fakes to Garrison, looks right, and throws to the 8-yard line. Caught there by Truax. Or rather, Mike Sitka, who's in at the tight end for Truax, and he's got a first down at about the 7-yard line. Hayes to the right, Allworth out left, and going to a slot back is Thomas. The remaining back is Garrison. Staubach has the ball, gives to Garrison, and he gets a couple of yards, past the 5 down to the 4, and gains more than that. He picks up about 4 yards. Truax lines up tight on the left. Hayes is the flanker back right, and Thomas goes over to the left of Truax as a slot there in the wide spread of Allworth. Here's the handoff given to Garrison. He's bottled up at about the 3-yard line. Got no more than a yard that time as the 49ers dig in defensively up front. Of course, they are within easy range, the Cowboys are, of field goal here.
See what kind of a play that Landry sent in on this one.
As here's Staubach ready again. As the setback's behind him, pitches out to Thomas, getting a block, turning toward the end zone. He's into a Dallas touchdown. Runs it in from the 2-yard line. And now kicking is Mike Clark, holding the ball. Here's Dan Reed to kick on its way, and that one is good. And it makes it a 14-3 ball game. Ready and kicking off, Mike Clark for Dallas, and now the 49ers in a bad hole here with the time remaining, 9:17, and that is not yet a factor. Dick Washington, Doug Cunningham, the receivers, as the kick downfield is to about the 9-yard line. Grabbed there by Cunningham up to the 20, the 25, and to the 29-yard line. A 51-yard kick to the 9 to run back about 20 yards. And San Francisco has the ball at the 49er 29-yard line. As Thomas went into the end zone, he was led, convoyed in there by Blaine Nye. A great name in Stanford football, and we have to look back just 24 hours at this moment, and what a great day for his ex-teammates from Stanford in that victory over Michigan, and John Ralston certainly with 2 Rose Bowl triumphs. What a great afternoon for the Tribe. Here we go as the 49ers ready at the 29-yard line. As going back to pass now is Brody throwing a long one, 40 yards to Washington. He got it! He got it down at the 35-yard line. Gene Washington taking that pass at the 35, where it is going to be a 1st and 10 for the 49ers. Brody calls his signals now with the setbacks in behind him. Willard and Washington. Brody goes to the air, hits Washington at the 29-yard line. Brody knows he has to take the team to the air. And he's penetrated this secondary time and again in this second half much more effectively than in the first half. Here's John Reddy, hands it off to Willard. He hits down the 33-yard line. Going for a decisive loss on the play. Some 5 yards by Bob Lilly. The 6-time All-Pro right tackle for the Dallas Cowboys.
Is that big third down play again for Brody.
3rd and 8 for John as he calls his signals. Normal spread. Setbacks behind him are now Schreiber and Washington. Brody throws. Incomplete. Larry Schreiber coming out of the backfield, the antenna receiver.
Listen to this crowd now as they sense the drama involved here. 4th down and 8 to go. No field goal attempt.
Here's John Reddy calling his signals. Looks over a 5-man front for Dallas now, sensing a rush. He's back to pass, hurries his pass, incomplete. Dallas will take over. Here comes Dallas up the line of scrimmage now. Roger Staubach will try to use up time here in this drive. Has his backs in the I formation, keeps them there, and hands off the lead man Garrison, who gets up to the 34-yard line, gaining a couple of yards before hit by Earl Edwards the right tackle defensively for the 49ers.
You know, with all of the excitement attended to the game of this import, it's interesting to watch Tom Landry over there, who isn't anywhere near as hard an individual as he looks. Certainly he's not ever going to lead the league in emotion, but that's simply Tom's way. He did say, I'll tell you, wait if we do get to the Super Bowl, and if we do win it, then he said, I'll show you some emotion.
Here now are the Cowboys in a slot back left. The fake off by Staubach. He's running out of the pocket again. Escapes one man, hit by Wilcox, who got him at about the 40-yard line. Dave Wilcox, after one miss, Staubach again scrambling beautifully back there. Here again come the Cowboys line of scrimmage. This time Garrison, the running back, is in a slot left. Only a remaining back in Thomas. He's got some blockers in front of him, turning the corner at the 40, and appears to have a first down. Substitution for the 49ers, Earl Edwards, has come to the sideline in favor of Stan Heinman now, 27-year-old former Mississippi star. That's at the right tackle spot defensively. The handoff is given to Garrison, has two blockers in front of him, turning the short side of the left, and goes up to almost midfield before he's tackled. They shift with Thomas going right flank, left slot for Bob Hayes. The handoff given to Garrison again, the remaining running back. And he plunges forward for a first down, getting down to about the 44-yard line. Bob Hayes goes wide to the left now, and Lance Allworth is out right. The running backs and the eyes shift out of it. Thomas going left, and the power to that side, and the tailback is Garrison. He gets the handoff from Staubach, goes past the 40, down to the 38-yard line. Roger Staubach going for about 5 yards on the play. Well, this is shades of last year again, along with Thomas, of course, in the previous playoff between these two teams. Here's Staubach handing off. Thomas now has Blaine Nye running in front of him, and hit down to the 38-yard line is Dwayne Thomas. 3 minutes and 10 seconds remain. With the 49ers 11 points down and trailing 14-3.
Dan Reeves is in there.
Dan Reeves in now. He, of course, operates as an offensive backfield coach and a handyman to have around. He's slotted left now as Staubach goes back to pass. Is rushed and hit back at the 45-yard line. He had two men on him, Bob, and he almost got away from them.
Remarkable young man, Roger Staubach.
Dallas only went 23 yards on that drive, but they used up about 3.5 minutes of the clock. Ready now and back to kick is Ron Whitby, waiting for the snap. He's got it and boots it toward the end zone. He doesn't want any return. And there it is in the end zone. The 49ers will have it at their 20-yard line. San Francisco, 80 yards away from a score, and even a touchdown would not save them now. So that's the story facing John Brody in a very dark moment for the 49ers as Dallas keys in defensively now to hold them. Here's John going back to pass, looks over the top and throws intercepted at the 20-yard line. Down to the 20, down to the 15. The middle linebacker on the play is Jordan with the ball, past the 10 and down to the 8-yard line. Jordan goes down to the 8 after intercepting, and there, if the 49ers hope for a comeback, that did it right there.
Well, Leroy Jordan
John Brody attempting to get Ken Willard, and Jordan would have no part of it.
It looked like Brody threw it right at him. You know, it's an interesting thing about Staubach, too, Don. The Cowboys have never lost a game that he has started and finished.
They have never lost in this stadium either.
No, that's true. The last time that the Cowboys had the ball first and goal to go at the 8, they scored on third down with Thomas going 2 yards. Now they have it first and goal again at the 8.
Here's Allworth out left, Bobby Hayes out right, Garrison and Thomas, the running backs. Staubach puts Thomas over on the line now. Remaining back is Garrison. The pitch to him. Walt trips and goes down. Hit from below at about the 8-yard line.
Good defensive play there by Johnny Fuller, who came flying in there and took the blocker with him. We're getting a clip call against the Dallas Cowboys. So there's a break for the 49ers. And that's only, I believe, Walter, the third penalty of the game. Second against the Cowboys and one against the 49ers.
I don't think it's being overconfident to have had the public address announcer just say Super Bowl tickets will be going on sale for Dallas fans. We just heard that one.
Well, you know, they do things in grand fashion here in the state of Texas. So that penalty sets the ball all the way back now to the 28. 38 yards
for Dallas, and of course this is a goal situation. Remember, they were inside the 10 when they started this series, so it is first and goal from the 28-yard line for Dallas. But it's all relative now with 1:55 left to go. There goes Thomas in a short shift left. Garrison, the remaining back. And the handoff goes to Walt, getting a block up front by Tony Liscio, and gets up to about the 24-yard line, tackled by Cedric Hartman on the play. Still know that Staubach has some chance to get out of there, not having found his receivers, and that's been so effective again today. Here's Staubach ready, handing off to Garrison, tries over right tackle, goes past the 20, down to the 19-yard line. San Francisco is down to its lone remaining timeout. The Cowboys have a couple, but they are not intent on using them at this point. They have the lead, convincingly so. Here's the handoff to Garrison, who was stopped by Frank Nunley the last time. He gets up to about the 17-yard line.
Here's the field goal attempt.
Here now is Reeves holding for the kick of Clark from the 24. The kick on its way, and this one is wide, no good. Well, I don't know if there's any consolation in that, Sam, but the 49ers were able to avoid that 17th point. They held them a little better this year. What'll happen next year, you never know.
It was partially blocked, incidentally.
Frustrating afternoon for John started when he threw an intercepted pass to George Andre at the 9-yard line, and that gave Dallas the scoring break by which they've led ever since in the game. Here's John Reddy, calling his signal, has the ball, drops straight back, looking down and swings a pass, right back, blocked at the line again. Hit that time at the line by Pat Toomey. 49ers, as we mentioned, have used up all their times out, and 1 minute and 24 seconds remain. Of course, stop now the incompletion. Brody with setbacks behind him. John again drops back, looking straight over the middle, and completes it up to the 35-yard line. Caught there that time by Ted Qualick, his favorite receiver this year. Interesting fact that Bob Tucker of the Giants, who missed the first 2 games of the season, became the first tight end ever to win a pass receiving title with 59 receptions this year. And San Francisco tight end Ted Qualick, who just took that one, was second with his 52. First and 10, 49ers at the 39 as Brody goes back to pass. Good protection, throws over the top, caught this time by Vic Washington up to midfield, past the 45, down to the 40, as the 49ers keep battling to try to get a little more respectable score before this game closes off. 45 seconds remain.
I was just going to say that clock continues to run. He looked like they've gotten out of bounds with it, but he had no chance. Of course, the 49ers are in their late drill. No huddle, they just move up as Brody calls the signals at the line of scrimmage.
Again, John dropping straight back as he throws over the middle, caught by Vic Washington again, does a sidestep to gain more room and gets to the 30-yard line and gains another 10 yards. As Dallas to set up a prevent defense now is yielding through the middle and trying to defend against anything longer. Only 19 seconds remain. Brody calling 2 plays at a time in the huddle as they've gone into their closing bit of offense.
The crowd gets a little upset now because the officials are stopping the clock momentarily.
Here again, Brody's ready. 11-point lead for the Cowboys as John drops straight back, being rushed. He's in trouble, escapes it, has time to throw down to the goal line, and it is intercepted. Intended for Washington, but a Cowboy has it down there at the 4-yard line. Cliff Harris, I believe, got it.
And a bitterly disappointed John Brody with hands on hips says that's about it. That's his 3rd interception.
1 second, of course. What must be considered more or less of a desperation pass. He had Washington down deep, double-teamed, and under any other circumstances, he might not have thrown the ball, but in this case, there was no use holding on to it back there, and the Dallas Cowboys have it for a closing 1-second play.
Just to make it official, but it will be Dallas against either Miami or Baltimore in the Super Bowl 2 weeks from today.
And it'll be the second appearance, of course, of the Cowboys in the Super Bowl. They lost it last year to Baltimore on a field goal in the closing seconds by Mr. O'Brien, who lived for a whole year on that field goal. There's the gun.
There it is. The end of the 4th quarter with the final score, Dallas 14, San Francisco 3.
Well, there's a story on one part of the entrance for the Super Bowl on January the 16th at Tulane Stadium in New Orleans. The Dallas Cowboys with a great defense today. And I'm pretty sure that even if you're a very ardent Dallas rooter, you would have to say that it was quite a pleasant surprise that they held John Brody and company to no touchdowns in this ballgame. I don't think anybody expected that. But the Dallas defense today was really the doomsday defense that everybody has come to know the past 5 or 6